of cycle update. And it feels so good to be rugged so bad. I don't understand why these things happen right when I'm about to eat my food. CryptoTalk.fm. My name is Leicester. I am your host. An out of cycle update as well as an open message. It's an open door. It's an open policy. I've got to do it. I don't want to because, again, I got food and I want to eat. And this nonsense happens when I got food. Somebody brought to my attention on CoinMarketCap, and I didn't have a reason to disbelieve it. There's two parts to this, but I didn't have reason to disbelieve it. The first part was that allegedly, and I don't know if it's true, but allegedly somewhere in some forum, I'm assuming it's Telescam, which I don't go to, but somewhere in some forum, the CEO of the project known as BlockDAG gave a message that said that the project would not be listed actually on Gate or MEXC, and allegedly they blamed the community. Now, I don't think that if this happened, and I don't know that it did, but if that happened, I don't think that they actually meant, quote, the community as in the community at full large. I suspect what they meant really was the consensus, because the consensus did say at one point they were going to do everything in their power, everything possible to stop this thing from going forward, to put a halt to everything, make sure that it was not going to go forward. So we knew that the consensus was actively working behind the scenes to do something. Now, what I was told, and I did see some docs and then people confirmed it, apparently one of the main people behind the consensus is locked up because he couldn't control his alcohol. This is what I see. And I don't know if he'll be released. I don't have that information at this point, but this is what I was given to see, and people confirmed this to be the truth. So, and then one of the others is nowhere to be found and is off on something else. Somebody else then said, well, yeah, but they want the BDAG tokens. So if it's a scam, why do you want the BDAG tokens? So you just want the BDAG tokens because you think it's not a scam. It's a whole big shit show. So then I don't know if the CEO really said these things in some forum. Somebody has some screenshots, some direct screens of what was said where. CryptoTalk.fm, hit the contact form and just let us know. But if you're on CoinMarketCap, just put it there. Just put evidence. Like don't just say, hey, he said this. Put some evidence. Back yourself up, right? Cover your ass. That's all. Anyway, the BlockDAG account had announced that it was going to get on two other exchanges. One of them was Toobit, which I'd never heard of. The other one I forget the name of, but the Toobit one, okay, well, let's see. Somebody then on CoinMarketCap put a screen with a response from that same Toobit that talked about, well, it's dropped 99% that it had, and it's because the BlockDAG team, for reasons I'll get to as I close, decided to do something that killed the business, and as a result, the price tanked from a peak. It got to 0.005, which was a low. Obviously, it's not its all-time high, but it's low, but it was a great game. People were able to get money. There was somebody who said they put 10,000 in the pre-sale. They decided to put some money in recently, and they were able to get all their money back, which is what I've been saying. Get your money back. Don't worry about the coins in the whatever the F. It doesn't matter. So this person did great, got all their money back. But it started crapping back down. I assumed that CEO said something stupid somewhere else. I wasn't aware at that time that they did this business that killed the business. I didn't know at the time. I saw it later. As I close, I'll get there. But now I looked into the Toobit thing. This was on X, mind you. Toobit had proudly announced that they were going to be listing the project and then later backtracked. They said, okay, sorry, I know we told you we're doing that. We're not actually doing that. They openly said, we're the ones that pulled the plug, and they called out all sorts of issues that they noticed that caused them to make the decision to pull back from the listing that was allegedly going to happen. You can't get more like outlaw, it's just outlaw. It's just crazy how everything is screwed up on their own design. It's so simple, and yet they kill the business every single freaking time. Every time you turn around, these people, they take action that just kills any momentum that they had. Some of the things called out by Toobit: recent market performance, of course, the crap, public risk concerns. Some of that's the consensus, but some of that is in public forums. Updated project status. Of course, there is none. And they decide to stop it. and then said we're going to reevaluate our stuff and we're sorry about the stuff, and nobody lost any money because we never started. So they just basically said we did commit a contract. We were going to do it. So they at least confirmed there was a contract in place, but that they didn't do any due diligence before agreeing to the listing and then backed off of it. CEO, you know who you are. I know you listen to my show, CryptoTalk.fm, and you know why I know that you listen to the show. You and I understand that, okay? I'm going to do this as best I can. Because here's my truth. And some people think I'm nuts, but here's my truth, man. You're in reaction mode. You're reacting to something that was handed to you. You're doing what you think it makes sense to try to get back on track. You're being sabotaged. And I'm not even, obviously the consensus is playing a part in that, but I'm not even talking about them. You know what I'm talking about, dude. You're getting sabotaged, okay? At some point, there needs to be a level set. You got to have some balls to stand up, okay? When you have a child who has a lot of money, like Tony Khan say, right? A child has a lot of money and they're just told do whatever the F. We understand that they don't have necessarily the best interest from a business perspective. Doesn't mean they're bad people. It means money makes you do stupid shit, right? So clearly what's happening is not in the best interest from a business perspective. I think you understand at least that much. I think you understand that from a business perspective, it doesn't really matter what you might intend to do. You're seeing things fall down the cracks. You cannot continue blaming even the consensus, because I think they're playing a small part in it. Certainly they're playing a part. I think it's a small part. I think you can disregard them. But I am talking about the bigger picture of why it's happening. The bigger picture of why it's happening is sentiment that is born from bad decisions that don't even have anything to do with you directly, but unfortunately you're at the front of it. It's the same situation your predecessor had to deal with. Your predecessor had no balls, as you, I think, know. He didn't have any balls. He was trying to do stuff, but he didn't have balls. When I say balls, I'm saying you have the hard conversation, and we understand that if you get fired, fuck it. You wouldn't want to be in something that's labeled a scam in the first place, I would hope. So let's assume that you have the best of intentions. I would implore you to have the hard conversation and say what's happening is wrong and it must stop. Let's break down the list. This is my close. Let's break down the list. I shouldn't have to tell you these things. In fact, I think you know these things. I think nobody's ever called it out publicly, but I'm going to call them out anyway because I think everybody already knows. It's like, geez. Anyway, number one, when you're selling products, you should not sell your products cheaper than the open market, okay? Look at EcoFlow. EcoFlow sells their product on their site. They'll offer all kinds of crazy discounts for the product, and it's kind of diminished their market share a little bit, but they never sell it significantly lower than the open market. You could still get it cheaper at like Costco, for example, because they understand that they'll offer some discounts to a point, but they're not going to basically just give it away or fire sell it because you're devaluing the product, which goes to my bullet too. When you do sales are designed to encourage purchases, but that assumes that you're having struggles getting people to purchase. In your case, struggles getting people to purchase is born from the fact that you don't have strong product presence. And when I say strong product presence, I'm not talking the blockchain, because by the way, I don't know if you noticed, but your dev docs don't allow people to set up a mainnet node. I also see mentions to a whitelist, which seems to imply that you don't want a bunch of people setting up nodes now. Why is that? If the mainnet's live, what's stopping you from letting people set up nodes? Because goes to bullet number 3, your RPCs are blatantly unstable. Coins go missing, quote unquote. They're not really missing, but the point is the RPC is not keeping up with the transactions. Because the RPC is not keeping up with the transactions, it's making people think their coins have been stolen. And so it's causing people to be skeptical about going all in on other things you build, which goes to bullet number 4. Your staking application doesn't show the full transaction thread when people go to stake the coins, and there's questions regarding the APY because it doesn't seem to be consistent with the number of coins put in there, which I suspect has to do with the RPCs not being able to keep up with transactions timely like they're supposed to, which contradicts the very spirit of being a DAG that you claim it's going to be. Now, you might say, well, that's because we don't have enough traffic, which is why I question why you're not opening up more nodes. Because if the problem is really just not having enough nodes, per the video you just did with Dowie on DAG Tech, pleading for people to set it up, People might want to set the fucking shit up if they could, if your documentation was kept up to date on how to connect to the mainnet, but it's not. You might say, well, we don't intend for everybody to create a node. We intend for them to mine, which goes to bullet number 5. Unfortunately, you still haven't shipped miners despite multiple promises you were going to do it. So nobody has miners to even support the network. And the video you showed from that same Dowie, allegedly of an X100, people called out that the specs appear to be weaker than a cell phone. My point to you, sir, you have major issues from a sentiment perspective born of your own actions. And I don't mean you personally. I'm talking about the project and shit you not done, where you claim stuff's going to happen and you're not even ready for it. You damn sure aren't ready to support a casino if that is what you're going to do, because the casino, assuming it has high traffic, that means your chain needs to be able to do the basics of transactions. It needs to be able to keep up with that. You need to have more nodes in the wild. You need to have miners in the wild, and you need to stop fire selling your coins on your site, killing the business on the central exchanges. The central exchanges are starting to take notice of what's happening. You're clearly signing something to get on the exchanges because Toobit came out and exposed that something was signed to get on the exchanges. So there's an effort to get on the exchanges. This contradicts then why you're fire selling those same coins and gutting their price. Why don't you want the price to go up? Do you understand how stupid this strategy is? Think it through. Why would you not want a higher price? You get a higher price by letting the market be free. You let the market decide, and then you deliver on what you say you're going to do instead of selling the fucking shit on your site at a steep discount, undercutting those same central exchanges. It's almost like you want to get kicked off the exchanges so that you can do a scapegoat and blame the same community for getting kicked off the exchanges. It's not the community's fault. What's happening is you're undercutting your own fucking market, dude. I know you know this. I'm breaking it down so that everybody who does listen at CryptoTalk.fm understands the same shit I have been saying on my channel for months prior to me getting attacked by that same consensus, because that consensus didn't want me to expose the shit that I just broke down that I knew was going to happen, because I still got the receipts that I called out this shit months ago. They would say, well, so do we. No, they didn't. They partnered with your predecessor. Your predecessor didn't get it either, because your predecessor, unfortunately, when he came in, was ill-equipped to pull it off from scratch. So 2 years was wasted. If he had never been in the mix, I don't frankly think we'd be in this problem now. I believe this in my heart of hearts. If he was not in the mix from jump, best of intentions be damned. Or you simply don't do a pre-sale until you have a mature product. And at that point, okay, you wait 5 years till you go to market, and then you show with a product, and then you go to central and let the market decide. What you're doing, not you, I'm saying the project, makes no damn sense. It doesn't make sense that you want lower prices. It makes no damn sense. And it's easy to fix. Have the conversation and explain it. You know what I'm saying. Explain it. All you have to do is say one fucking line. It does not make sense to have lower prices. That doesn't make sense to anybody. You want people to just buy at fire sale prices for what? Just so they have as many coins as possible for your casino? Isn't that what the staking is supposed to do? And by the way, you should be allowed to claim rewards without having to unstake the shit, because you're discouraging people from staking because of a 3-week lockup. And again, the RPCs are unstable, so people can't trust the shit, so they're hesitant to do it. Do you not understand how easy this is? But it starts with understanding what is it you're trying to solve here, dude. Clearly, it's not having the best price. Clearly, it's not having people engaged in staking, because you're discouraging doing it with the locks on the claim. I don't know what it is that you're trying to do, because everything is the polar opposite of what common sense mandates. Common sense mandates you want as many coins in as many hands as possible without lockups. To me, that means you should get on as many central exchanges as you possibly can. To do that, you need to make sure you're not gutting your own fucking price with a fire sale on your site that rhymes. 2, I would think you would want as many people staking as possible. To me, the easy way to do that is to make sure the shit's stable, which means you need RPCs. How do you do that? To me, it means you encourage people to create nodes, update the docs so that you can connect mainnet to encourage as many people to do it and increase the rewards for doing so. You also need to get rid of the lockup for claiming rewards. Claiming rewards should be freely available anytime you want to fucking do it, because that's going to get more coins in people's hands. Are they going to sell in the central exchange? Maybe. Who the fuck cares? Who cares? Clearly you don't, because you're still fire selling on your own damn site anyway. There's two roads, man. There's two roads. You can disregard what I'm saying. It's fine. You just got, I don't even want to say kicked off. You got cock blocked. You didn't want it to pull out. They pulled out anyway. I'm proud of them, right? Because at least they were ethical enough to say, you know what? This is sketchy shit. Here's the thing, man. I don't know what it's going to take, frankly. I don't know what it's going to take before you get a clear strategy and vision, which means hard conversations about what it is that you're trying to do. You are in a middle ground where it's clear. You are not in alignment. You know what I'm talking about. Your strategy is not in alignment. And without an aligned strategy, nothing will happen. Period. It's a meme coin. At this point, it's a meme coin. It's actually worse than some memes. It's worse than Floki. You should be ashamed of that statement that I just made. But how can you disprove it? You cannot. Oh, there's a blockchain. So what? Dogechain is a blockchain, didn't do shit. I think you need to get your house in order. You need to get on one strategy, one aligned strategy. And if you don't fix the fair market, get rid of fire sales, stop selling on your site. If you want those tokens to go away, give them to the exchanges as liquidity. Why don't you do that? Here's a better idea. How about you give those tokens to the staking people and give them more rewards? They can't clean the shit anyway because of your lockup. None of what you're doing makes any sense, dude. It doesn't make any sense. You're kind of going through the motions, and I don't get it. I don't get why you're just rushing towards nothing. You're rushing towards nothing. Because let's say a casino does show up. What the fuck good is it? Seriously, what the fuck good is it if nobody's using the shit and you think a bunch of people's going to use the shit when you've sold people that it's essentially them being scammed to get into a casino to maybe win some money? Is that the end game? Go to this that you guys think is a scam, that the public thinks is a scam, that this exchange cock blocked you on, that nobody has any positive sentiment on. Do that to do what? It's like a paper champion. You're just doing that to transition over to this casino to possibly win some money? Is that the end game? I'm asking the question. CryptoTalk.fm. Hit the contact form. Anybody. Is that the end game? Just a bunch of casino tokens with no intrinsic value in of themselves to possibly win some money on the backside. But in order to do that, you're spending money and then losing money to possibly win some money. Is that the end game, folks?